Hello everybody, welcome back to How to Build a B-1 Bomber. I have my bulkhead for my elevator, elevons, all laid up, and we're going to pop this motor apart and see how it turned out. I haven't even worked this loose or nothing, so we'll just see how it goes. Oh yeah. Bam! There's half. I figured that dude would break out. That's just a real flimsy plastic. But we had some questions on how this was made. This plastic, this clear plastic piece. That was made by one of them build-up machines. You know, that uses a laser and goes across in liquid and then makes some of it hard. We knew someone that had to calibrate one of their machines, and so Butch had all that stuff on his disc, and they just whipped it up for us, and that was really nice. So we'll just pop this on out of here. We don't need that plastic anymore. I figured that'd break out. There we go. I'll put some clay in there as a filler and a spot or two. But anyway, it turned out awesome. Now what I think I might do is I might have to do some experimenting. But what I think I might do is bolt these together and then lay up my part so I won't have a seam. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to study this for a while. I might have to lay them up individually and tape them together. But whatever, we'll get her done. Gonna fish a couple more of them parts out of here. I'll do that later. Basically turned out pretty awesome. And I've been working on my gas tank. I got one more side to do on that. I'll show you that here in a second. But I kind of got busy this week. Had a couple things going on. But I still tried to make a little progress out here in the shop. But sounds like that kid's insurance company is going to take care of me on them jets. I was pretty surprised, but I think that's all going to work out just great. Ain't such a bad world after all. Boy, I tell you what, I'm really going to wax them pieces up. I'm going to really wax them good so these parts really come out nice. They would come out better if they was more sturdy. See, it's just also brittle that it breaks instead of pulling the rest of it out. Well, that turned out pretty good, huh? What do you think, Butch? That don't look bad, huh? Not bad for a rookie. I'm gonna have to get me some kind of pick in there. Get that out of there. It's in this corner. I might just leave that piece in there. I don't think that really needs to come out. Get my clay all cleaned out of there. Wax that and polish it. And see, there's where my rod goes through right there. And this is the arms are going to come through there. That little piece of flanged carbon fiber tube I'm making will sit right in there, and then we'll put the arm in there. And then we can just mount our servos right down here, and just with the rod going straight up to the elevons. See, there'll be elevons. Here, I got two hands free now. They'll move like, they'll work as ailerons too. And that's how the real B1 does it. Bam, there we go. Now this purple stuff is just my part all. I'll take that out to the water hose and force all these down real good. I just got another coat or two on there than I did there. So I'm happy with the part all. Basically, that mold came out pretty nice. Now I'm going to lay these up. When I lay these up, I'm going to lay them up out of carbon fiber, man. And we're going to make up in here real thick. We're going to make this up here just bulletproof. And then once we get it laminated to the carbon fiber in our tailpiece over there, see, I'm going to make that tailpiece. I'm going to lay that up out of carbon fiber too. So all this will be carbon fiber, man, and it'll be strong, and because we don't want no flex in it. We don't want this stuff flexing and twisting and bowing and doing stupid stuff. So we're going to make that bulletproof. Bulletproof as we can, anyway. And here's my fuel tank. See, we had a couple spare ones of these aluminum deals cut out. See, Dad's got them other ones at the house, but he just mounted this one back in this wood right there, so I could have something to work on my tank with and make sure it fits. We don't want to get this thing all laid up and then find out, whoop, it ain't gonna fit, especially when I'm piling the glass on it. So every time I do something, I come back and check it. But I got my sides laid up. What I did is I'm starting to do this in layers. I did my sides. This is 2 layers of 10 ounce. Okay, then I put a nice radius on that edge and got that glass just to overlap a little bit. You kind of have to work it. I found that if you take your glass before you even put any resin on it and just kind of work them corners and then put your resin on, that rolls around that edge just a little bit better. We ain't got to go very far, just as long as each layer kind of overlaps each other. And then what it is, I put 3 layers on the top and got it to roll pretty nice. And now I'm going to put 3 layers on the bottom. And then I'm going to come back and sand them. You see how I sanded that edge and got my nice radius back. And I got these ends the same way. So I'm going to come and I'm going to do the bottom. I'm going to put 3 layers on the bottom. And man, you're not going to be stingy with the resin. We don't want no pinholes or nothing. So I'm going to put a nice coat of resin on the foam. Put my piece of glass down and just a nice coat of resin, another piece of glass, nice coat of resin, another piece of glass, and squeegee it, but not hard, because we don't want to create no pinholes or no voids. Just enough to get it smooth like that. You know, you don't really want to squish all the extra resin out, but if you don't get enough out, it'll puddle and you'll have resin in between your layers of glass, and it'll kind of look bad. But you just kind of work it a little bit. Make sure it soaks into the cloth, and then, you know, just squeegee it flat. Then I'm going to put my 3 layers on the bottom. Okay, then I'll do that edge just like this, and then I'll come back and I'll put another layer on the sides and roll them edges a little better. Okay, then I'm still not done. Then I'm going to sand it. Then I'm going to sand it all. I'm going to sand it all real good. See, I didn't put peel ply on this because I didn't want to. I'm going to sand that all real good. I'm going to sand it, and I'm going to sand it, and I'm going to rub it with lacquer thinner, make sure I get all the wax off of it. Then I'm just going to come in here with my paintbrush. I could drill a hole and put me a stick in there, you know, where I'm going to put my fill lines. Then I could just put me a piece of dowel rod in there and hold it. Then I'll just come in there and paint me a coat of resin on there, just to make sure there ain't no pinholes, and seal it all up real good. And then I'll come in here and I'll cut it apart, and because we got to clean that foam out. I'll take my stick out and I'll drill my hole the size I want it, and then I can pour some lacquer thinner in there and let it eat this foam out. And after it eats all that foam out, then I'll come and cut it in half, because I'll have to get in there and clean it all up. I'll get in there and sand it a little bit and clean it up. I might put another coat of resin on the inside. It's a lot of work, but you know, we can get custom fit tanks, and it'll be nice, and it won't leak. It'll hold up to the pressure. Then I got some big fittings I'm going to use. I'm going to use some pretty big fuel line going to this and my other 2 tanks. And then once I come out of here and start teeing it, and then I could step it down and go to my 6mm tubing, and then 4 onto the turbines individually. But we don't want to starve them for fuel, so I'm going to go with some big stuff. I'm going to go with like 1/4 inch. And that way when I'm filling it up, I actually got a car fuel pump I'm going to use to fill these tanks. So we won't have to sit there and wait an hour, you know, like them little pumps going through them little hoses. Man, this thing, that'd take an hour and a half to fill 6 gallons. So I'm going to use a car fuel pump and a regular fuel line off a car to fill it up. And that'll work. But my buddy gave me a fuel pump. It's actually out of his race car. It wasn't pumping enough fuel for his race car, but it'll pump plenty of fuel for this. It's just an electric fuel pump that I'm just going to rig up, so we won't have to sit and wait an hour for this thing to fill up with fuel. But that's where I'm at. I'm trucking, folks. All I got to do is lay up that back spar or that back bulkhead and finish this tank, and I'm ready to lay up the fuselage. It'll happen, and it'll happen soon. Stay tuned. Sorry, I just got kind of busy this week, and but I'm ready, folks. But until then, stay tuned. It'll happen soon. We will see you in the shop.